Happy New Year, everyone. I just want to speak to you old guys, or you mature guys, a minute. It's the new year, and maybe now that you're older, you've got a little money. Maybe the kids are gone. Maybe the wife's not going to freak out. But you decided to buy a motorcycle. Well, there's lots of questions you need to ask yourself, but there's only one that decides all other questions. Welcome back to the channel, folks. If you're new here, welcome. Glad to have you. If you don't mind hitting that subscribe and that like and that bell, I sure would appreciate it. YouTube has been shadow banning some of my videos, and make sure you hit that bell. Ever since I got 500,000 hits on one of my Daytona videos, they've been squashing my channel down for any of the Daytona stuff. I think they recognize the models, the AI does, or the words Daytona. They just shut me down. So if you want to see highlights from last year, you just have to go to the channel and look them up. It's a pretty good video because it's pretty much highlights of everywhere I've been. But anyway, you want to buy a motorcycle, and what is the most important question you'll ever ask? That is, what are you going to do with it? You know, what is the vision? I'm sure that people who buy, like I did when I bought my motorcycle, I had a vision of what I'd be doing on it. And I'm sure you do too. And now that you're older, I'm sure you're not thinking about, you know, dirt biking and racing and that kind of stuff. But you may be thinking about touring bike. And there's lots of things to think about when you think of a touring bike, especially if you're going to upgrade it. Or maybe you just want a Sportster to go around town, or maybe you want to go camping. I'm sure you have a vision. Maybe you want to put your wife on the back and visit small towns. Or are you going to go 1,000 miles away? Or are you going to stay around? Maybe 100 miles. Maybe just go out to breakfast. Or maybe you're going to commute to work. Whatever it is, you're going to have to ask that question, what am I going to do with it? And here's a quick little tip. Once you figure that out, I think going to Harley's main competition is the best thing to do. And what is their competition? Used Harley motorcycles. And it's one of, you know, Harleys will run forever. It doesn't even matter how old they are. There's always parts for them. But I would suggest, especially if this is going to be your first or you're getting back on, find an older Harley. And you can probably get them fairly cheap. Harleys are never cheap, but you can probably find one. Maybe a twin cam, if you're looking for a touring bike. I used to love my 103 HO. It's one of the best motors Harley ever made. I kind of miss that bike, actually. I just overbuilt it. But that market, you can modify it, change it, do what you want. Even if you change your mind and say, you know, I really didn't want this, you can take that bike apart and build it like you want. It's just one of those platforms that is never ending, and it might break down. They last forever, but the twin cam's real easy to work on, and most of the independent shops will readily take them in. The Harley dealers, if it's more than 10 years old, they won't work on them. Find yourself a really great mechanic. I have one here in Sarasota, and He does all the work on my bike. I do not work on my bikes anymore. I'm too old. I don't have the knees for it. But Dan's a great guy, and I just have to call him up, get a price, and he works on it. And he did all the work in my Stage 2, my 465 SNS cam, all of it. But I spent way too much money on this bike because it was new, but I did wait through the warranty. If you're looking for a new bike, well, if you've got the money for it, fine. But make sure you don't get maybe a street cruiser when you should be looking for a touring bike, which is why I suggest the used bike. Maybe you'll get a used bike and ride it around for a while and then decide, well, you know what, I need something bigger or I need something smaller. Those are the things that you'll figure out in the first 6 months, which is why I asked that question, what are you going to do with it? So anyway, just some thoughts for the new year, and go to the channel, see if you want to see some of the old Daytona and Sturgis videos. They're there, and I did a great one for the end of last year. But YouTube is throttling me down, so hopefully next year will be better. Anyway, Happy New Year, and hopefully there'll be some great new videos to come.